I said, you want people, and then I ask questions like, what kind of person, what kind of business do you want to have? Do you want to be local or do you want to be international? So if you're looking for the general public to find you and your business, you cannot leave out where you're trying to jump ship. So, like I said, create something there and still expand. You carry more leverage that way when you do that. And if we gonna jump on property for a split second, let's say, okay, let's say you can't get Central Park, right? But there's other areas where you can get and create. Once upon a time, there was no Walt Disney World. Things was built from scratch. Why not create your own?
Because you have banks that still
It
does
takes
redlining,
planning,
unfortunately.
but still, I'm gonna show you something even about the banks part. When it comes down to it, 9 times out of 10, banks want you to come to them for everything. That's not always true. There's other ways to get what you want and get what you need and not have to depend on the banks if you know where to look. Trading for me is one of them. So, for instance, my daughter and I, we day trade. So we're able to trade, make the money we want to make, put it to the side, and like I said, build off of that on top of other things. Now, if we're creating our own financial freedom, right? What do you do when you create it? You invest it in what you're going to invest it in.
Hmm.
But you don't necessarily have to go to the banks in order to get what you need. There are other avenues if you know where to look.
That is correct. But however,
Mhm.
you're talking about building structure when you're talking about, so there's a plethora of things when you're talking about wealth, right? You may not need a bank to buy that structure of a home or a
Right.
or a facility,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. But then there's other underlying
Right.
parallels that you do need to look into. You're talking about county taxes. You're talking about state taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a builder.
Correct.
You're talking about a plethora of things. And I'm only speaking to these things because I work in
Correct.
banking and I've been doing this for 20 something years. So I
Mm-hmm.
can speak to these things. You may
Okay.
X out of a bank, but you will eventually need
Right.
the other parallels of things that goes in line with those things. And that's why I talk
Correct.
about redlining and zoning. So you have to take those
Mm-hmm.
things in. I'll give you a
Yeah.
prime
And
example. My sister came to me, and she's mad at me right now, and don't want to talk because she came to me and asked me for a FHA loan to do a multi-family unit. I won't approve it. I won't let my lending team approve it. And although FHA does approve multi-family homes, I won't approve it based on the because it's under the bank that I govern. Now, I gave her access to another bank to use my access code, which is Navy Federal. Navy Federal, they will do FHA. They're coming away from doing FHA because it's so regulated. They have no other choice right now to do it. I will give her access to get a FHA loan. You have so many things and variables that you have to look into when you're doing FHA on multifamily loans. Right now is not the best time to become a financial guru or a lender, or not lender, but a landlord, if you will.
Right now, it's not the best time.
It's not the best time to do any type of movements because you buy a home or a multifamily unit or become a landlord to anything and that person say I'm not paying,
Oh,
guess
okay.
what's gonna happen? You can't put them out. You want to know why? Because there is a law called the CARE Act. That home is under that, your that person can't be evicted.